My name is Luc Doncourt and I'm Chief Creative Officer for the Hyundai Motor Group. I was designing Bentleys in the British Empire it's a bit of a dream to design Bentleys. One day I received a phone call and I was asked if I would be interested in talking about an eventual position in Korea. And you know, you never say no, because as a designer you have to be curious. But I had no pressure, no reason to leave my job, so there was no urgency. And at the same time I was a bit concerned about, after 23 years of work in the one group, my career was almost defined. I got contacted, I started talking, and what at the beginning was an informal talk became interesting. Then I discovered the character of the Hyundai Motor Group, of being a brand which is caring, and also much more innovative, and was giving me the impression that I could create more, that there was less limits here than what I had in my 23 years of career in a previous group. And there was one thing that surprised me, is the fact that Hyundai had brought the first hydrogen fuel cell car on the street. That gave me the feeling, if Hyundai can do this, it can probably be the right company for me to be creative. And also the fact that the Hyundai Motor Group was not only an automotive company, it was doing a lot more things. And today I'm enjoying to design planes for the Supernal, division, Urban Air Mobility division, or robots, or cars. And projecting the brand, not only doing the next generation of cars, but projecting the brand into the future with future mobility concepts. So there's no limit, and I have to learn the whole time. It was an incredible and unforeseen career change. When I joined Hyundai, I was asked if I would want to take over design responsibility for the brand Genesis, and obviously you don't say no. This is a dream. So because I did not design for a brand that somebody created, I was not the follower of another designer. I was the first one. I had to create a design identity, but more important, a design team. And the third thing, I had to create design processes. So it was really starting from zero. So it is the first time I feel 100% responsible for the brand, because it started, I had the chance of being there the first day. So I brought the best people to work on Genesis with me. I was always told I was always asked how I'm going to differentiate the design of Hyundai from Genesis. And the Genesis had the wing logo. And by trying to create a design identity, the car behind, so the only way was to create something based on something that nobody had, and it was the Genesis logo. If you look at the logo, it has a crest in the middle, and it has the feathers of the wings, the two lines of the feathers on the wings. So when I had to design a language, create a shape, create a face for this brand. So this is why I say, at Genesis, brand is design and design is brand. We don't do things different. So we are completely integrated, and so that was for me the important thing. And I was really blown away the day I was asked to not only, let's say, carry on with the design of the brand with my team, which is the best team in the world, but on top of that, oversee the brand. That means that integrating marketing and all the aspects of marketing into the design. That has never been done before. A designer was never responsible for the brand. And this is very special because, again, I feel completely synchronized with the brand because it's mine. It's really part of me, and I remember that during this very difficult time of the COVID epidemic, I was stuck in Europe. During that time, Genesis arrived on the road. My Genesis, the Genesis that my design team had created with those two lines. I had my designers telling me, "Oh, you should see the cars on the road and everything." I can't see them, we don't have them. And then 1 year later, I could finally travel back to Korea in 2021. And suddenly there were those two lines everywhere. And it was so great to see this dream becoming true, is basically seeing those two lines. 3 years after having joined Hyundai and Genesis, I was asked to take over Kia design as well. My first contribution, which was something which had already been questioned a few times, was the logo. I felt that the logo, and I was not the only one to think it this way, was a bit on the way to the creativity, was a bit limiting. While we were designing some cars and while I asked to have some projects redesigned, at the same time, we decided to try to put in production a logo which had been shown in 2019 on a show car. But actually, it was more than just an idea. There was a will there to basically try to transform the identity of Kia, which was always the most challenging brand into the Hyundai Motor Group. It was the power to surprise, and it had to be living this promise. And the logo was a bit conventional, so it was a bit on the way. So interesting enough, this would have not been possible in other companies. The logo is such an important part of the company that it is becoming a god. And this shows again the potential there is in Korea to question things like the logo of a company. In other companies in Germany, a substantial change of a logo, like what happened at Kia, would have never been accepted. But changing the logo was more than just trying to modernize the perception of the brand. It was the way to completely transform the company, and it was unleashing the creativity of the brand. From the moment that we all accepted to change the logo, it opened the doors to a complete new design philosophy for the brand. Once again, design is more than just a sculpture. Design is the embodiment of a DNA, and the DNA starts with a logo. 50 years ago, the Hyundai company was created. The Hyundai car the development was created in Hyundai. And that happened by the Hyundai Pony, created by Giorgetto Giugiaro, one of my mentors and heroes of car design, gave birth to the first Hyundai. We had to reinvent the company Hyundai. And interesting enough, we did it by paying homage to the Hyundai Pony. Because we are, with this car company, going back to its roots to start the next 50 years. The IONIQ 5 is a reinterpretation of the DNA of the Hyundai Pony. It's not a retro car because it's oriented into the future, but because of its nature, because of its hint at the first car of Hyundai, it is authentically Hyundai. At the same time, it marks a starting point. The Hyundai IONIQ 5 is the rebirth of the Hyundai company. This is why we decide as well to invite Giorgetto Giugiaro, 50 years after his contribution in creating the first car for Hyundai. Everything which I did between 2016 and the launch of the IONIQ 5 and the start of working on the IONIQ 5 was preparing for the second half of century of the Hyundai model group. And future mobility in the sense that it is human-centric. It is in order to allow people to be earlier mobile and later mobile. So it's all about, it's not about a car, it's about mobility. So we are facing a great time of living in a world where all the cars are being redistributed. And is opening a lot of cards. So my goal is to be able to be the fittest as creators in order to be the winners in this challenge.